Bonjour! My name is Ashley and I'm here to talk about teenage emotions. Before I start this video, I just want to introduce you to my new pet turtles. This is a boy turtle. Oh goodness, he's about to run off my hand. Say hi! Hi everybody! Going through the motions of being a teenager. Alright, I'm going to start this off by saying when I was 12, I knew the day before I turned 13 that what I was getting into. I knew somehow that when I turned 13, everything was going to be different. But then when I turned 13, everything did change. It was crazy. I mean, all of these emotions are inside of me. And I've always kind of, since I'm a girl, I feel like girls sometimes, they feel more than guys do always. And my emotions just gradually got huge. Like, if anyone were to hurt me, I'd cry. Like, I would cry. I've always been a crier. I would cry. And I've always been a crier. I've never really been able to stand strong in moments where you need to, not cry. And when I turned 13, I mean, everything just got worse. Like, every single breakup I went through, I'd cry. Even if I broke up with a person, I'd start missing them and then I'd cry about it. Like, I don't know, like, I just cry. That was my thing, and it's kind of always been my thing. I don't know. And I hate it, but hey, it's a part of being a teenager. Crying and sadness isn't only the emotions I went through. Being happy were a lot. There's sometimes in life where you go through things and then at the end of them you're just so happy, you're just like, whoa, I'm like, full of happiness. And sometimes it'd be random and you just like wake up. Sometimes I remember I'd like wake up and I'd be like super happy. And there was just so many different emotions, Sometimes it'd be really mad for no reason, and sometimes it'd be really happy for just no reason, just to be happy. Different things would happen and life went good. But when you start taking a turn on life, your emotions go crazy and you have no motivation. And when you have no motivation, that's when you hit rock bottom, I think. I have hit rock bottom so many times, like points where I'm crying out to God, and sometimes I just say, what am I supposed to do? Believe it or not, I would say that. And I would, cry out to God, and there are always going to be those moments where you just hit the very lowest point that you can, and you have no more motivation, and there's nothing motivating you to go further, and sometimes you just feel like you mean nothing to anyone. And I feel like that is the lowest point that your life could get at. I have been there. I have been to the point where you see nothing in life. And when you walk in your room, it's just a room of darkness. And everywhere you go, you have a cloud over your head. And it's miserable. It really is. It's terrible. And those emotions, sometimes they come randomly. Sometimes they come because you're just so stressed out and you never realized it, and then something happens and then everything falls out of place. Then you're just like, whoa, where did all this stress come from? It's just a bunch of different things. When you're a teenager, everything happens. I don't know about you guys, but that was always me, and I hated it, and it was just the worst thing for me. But in those times, either happiness, sickness, depression, any kind of times through my teenage emotions, those moments where I can turn back and say, God, man, what I did and what I said or whatever happened, it's unforgivable. Will you please forgive me? And being able to know that He forgives you and that He's there for you is just a great feeling. It lightens your mood. And whenever you're upset, or if you're angry, or if you're depressed, you can just say, God, I give you all of this depression, all of this anger. Sometimes if it's happiness, I give it to you, God, and I just ask that you give me something good out of it. And when you're sad, do not let the tongue go out of reach. I feel like that applies to me a lot, is where when I get mad or if I get upset, I let whatever I want come out of my mouth. And most of the time, it's just things that are just so unnecessarily don't need to be said. When that stuff happens, whoever you're saying it to, even if it's to God, you need to apologize. Just realize what you said or done is wrong and just say, I'm so sorry. And God will always forgive you. Teenager emotions are crazy. And when you have no motivation, that's when they go the worst. But just turn to God and He will give you that motivation. I promise you. Just pray and pray and pray and pray until something happens. I know I've said that in my video before, but I'm going to keep saying it until something happens. Guys, please take my advice and just look on bad situations in a happy way. And pray to God, and He will make something good out of this miserable, struggling life that we go through. My name's Ashley, and that's what I have to say about teenager emotions. Au revoir!